Well, hey everybody, backyard scrapping here, and welcome to part 8. We ended off in our last video. I was filtering off, these solutions from the filaments, and I actually had to wait a day because we had snow yesterday and it was cold. But anyway, this got to really filter out good and draw out good under vacuum. And what we ended up with, which I'm going to hit all this with Aqua Regia, is this jello looking. I mean, it literally looks like jelly. And it came out of the, I don't know if that's the silica reacting with the acid, or I don't know what it is, but it literally looks like jelly or jello. But what I'm going to go ahead and do today is I got that out of here. I'm going to clean this filter out. We're actually going to reuse this solution. We're going to put this stuff, some more of these filaments back in here and reuse this because the nitric isn't spent. The nitric is spent on this one. And then this is some addition water we're going to use. I know there's silver nitrate in that, and we've got some more of that gray stuff settled at the bottom of this. But I'm going to go ahead and filter this anyway, but I'm going to clear all this stuff up. I know I just shook the camera, sorry. I'm going to clear all this stuff up and get cleaned up and get this and these in here and get them working. So when we have something else to show you, we'll get back at you. Okay, everybody, we are continuing on. Actually, we're at a very slow filtering stage right now. We're running into the same thing that we've been running into with this stuff, which is actually this purple looking sludge in the bottom. This is the drop from the first bag, 200 and something grams of the filaments. So that is dropped. We are in the process of finishing these up. This is the last. This was that stuff that looked kind of melted. That was the last of the filament stuff, except for these, which we are going to do separately. There was those black ones that I talked about earlier that didn't seem to be dissolving. I think it was in the last video that, they're just not dissolving at all or nothing. So I threw what was left of those in some Aqua Regia to see if the Aqua Regia would dissolve them. It's dissolving some stuff in there, but not everything. I can definitely tell there's still a bunch of silver chloride left in that, that came off of them. So I'm going to continue to just let that go. It's probably almost done, but from what I can see, I don't know what those black filaments were. I don't know what they're made out of, but I can still see them in the bottom of the Aqua Regia. So the Aqua Regia didn't touch them either, so maybe they're tungsten or something along those lines. Anyhow, I was just wanting to bring you up to date. Still reducing down our fluids. Got that going. Filtering this and filtering some more sludge off, just gravity filtering over here. So when we get to a melting point, one other thing we have over here in our oven drying is our silver from our silver chloride drop from everything that we put together, from all the fluids. That's the silver we pushed out, by dropping with salt water. So when that comes out, we will also weigh that up and add it to the total. So that's where we are right now, guys. I'm not going to keep you. I just got a lot of filtering to do, a lot of rinsing to do, so I'm just going to stick with it, and we'll be back at you when we've got something to show you. Okay, guys, this was the last of our fuses. These are the ones that you could definitely see quite a bit of lead on. There's showing 41.54 grams. Without the cup. I teared it out or tarred it out, however you want to say it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in a beaker while we're waiting on all this stuff to go, and go ahead and get these rolling so we can get them done and get a final tally on all the contact metal. The push metal is done from dropping it out of the the silver chloride out, converting it and whatever, so I'll weigh that up. We'll do our final tally. And meanwhile, we're going to let the rest of this stuff filter out. So I'm going to get these going, and we will get back at you probably when we're going to do a final tally on all of the contacts. Then we're going to get this, the rest of these, the solutions dropped from the filaments. So I don't know why I keep messing that up. I can't for whatever reason, I can't remember filament. But anyway, so we'll get back at you when we are going to show you the final contact tally and get this other stuff prepped up to go. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, here's our push silver. We ended up with 53.17 grams, which is approximately 1.71 ounces Troy. This is what we pushed out of the solution after we did the copper drops. Now, somewhere along the line, there was a question, it may have even been Stephen himself who asked it, about a different color powder when you do a chloride drop, and yes, you do. This here, just a quick example. This is a copper drop, and it's actually because you're actually getting nice little crystals forming, so you're going to get a bright color. Alright, this you're converting, so it's going to be duller. It's not going to be as brilliant as something that's in the crystal form. But again, and not picking on anybody, you know, this is the one we're going to test to see how well he did. You can definitely see a major difference in color between my chloride drop and this chloride drop. This has been cleaned up. It's ready to melt. It's probably as close to pure as it can get without being regrown. And this is what I was talking about. Now, this is actually very bright. But again, that's why I do a copper drop. And then I try to get the majority of the silver out this way. Then I finish off by doing this, which gives us, you know, pushes all the remaining silver out of the solution. So we had several gallons of solution that I'm still reducing down between the rinse water and what was left over from the copper drops. And this is what came out of it. So about $40 worth of silver. So it is, when you're doing, it's not really worth it to go after if you're doing, you know, a few ounces, 5-6 ounces. You know, that I don't, you know, that just goes in my waste, and I do it all up at the end of the year because there's just not enough there to go after. But when you're doing, I think we were pushing 4 kilos maybe of material that we were refining, you're going to get, you know, some decent powder left over, you know, in the leftover fluid. So it is worth going after. I mean, that's an extra $10 on my end. So yes, it's definitely worth going after, and it's not that hard to do, and it doesn't take that much work. You know, you just have to let it settle out and convert it. But I did want to show you that there is a major difference in color between these two, so we know that this has some impurities in it. I just wanted to show you guys that. I will do a total tally here. This isn't going to increase our percentage that great, but it will increase it a little bit. So I will do that right quick and get right back at you and tell you what our final percentage was for our contacts. Okay guys, after doing the complete numbers on the contacts, it brought us up actually almost 2.5% by doing that extra push of metal. So our total ended up being 83.4% for all the contacts, and this is it. So we have that, and we have that, and there is our refined contacts. So I'm going to go back outside and continue working on the filaments, and we'll get back at you. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you what came out of the AR. This is, or the Aqua Regia. This is the pieces that did not dissolve in the dilute nitric acid when we were dissolving the silver off. In AR, they actually did nothing. They stayed the same. So the only thing I can think of is some of these are just plated tungsten, or some other type of metal, but I mean, you know, the Aqua Regia didn't touch it either. So I am still filtering that off to see if there's anything else in it. I did a Stannis test on it and it didn't show much of anything. So I just wanted to show you these. I mean, they actually look like tungsten, you know, tungsten contacts. They're the same color. You know, I don't know if you'll be able to get that color on camera, but they actually look like the tungsten contacts do after, you know, we get all the silver off of them. So maybe that's what they are. But I just wanted to show you, we got about probably, again, this much more of these in the bottom of this last one here. I don't know if you can see them, but they are doing exactly the same thing, so I'm not going to bother putting those in AR because it didn't touch them. So I just wanted to get you up to date. We are still filtering stuff off. This is our sludge, which this is about half of the sludge. I already tossed the rest of it, but it's, I think next time if I do these filaments, I'm going to treat them like I do coins or sterling silver or anything else. I'm actually going to burn them off first. This, like I said, just seems like a coating or something that was on them, and possibly if I had burned them all, you know, or you know, just heated them up cherry red, it would have burned this crap off of them and I wouldn't have had to deal with so much extra filtering. But hey, that's why this is an experiment. I've never done these before, so I'm learning too. And that's exactly what I think I will do next time, is actually just burn them off. I think that'll eliminate a lot of this problem. We already know that some of them are going to be just plated. They are not actually going to be solid silver. We can see that right there and out there. So I'll get back to you in a bit, guys. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you this jelly looking stuff. I have rinsed it. You can see on the edges there was a little bit of silver left here in this filter paper. Excuse me. But I have rinsed it and got as much of the silver as I could out of it, probably most all of it. It's out here. It would be turning really fast if I didn't, so there is a little bit in that filter, but I'll just end up tossing that in my filter bucket. There's that stuff again. This is about 1/3 of this jelly stuff that came off of the filaments. I have already rinsed the other and disposed of it, and like I said, to be honest, I really don't know what it is. It almost looks like dissolved filter papers, but it's not. You know, it came off the filaments itself. So, and I tested it in Aqua Regia and got nothing, and so to me, I guess it's just a coating that's on them. It has to be. So I just wanted to show you that. We are actually almost done with this. We're going to get it filtered off, and we'll be done. Got the other filaments going that had the lead on them, but as soon as those are done, we'll be done with the filaments. I'm going to go ahead and siphon this guy off, drop the extra chloride out of it, which you guys have already seen me do, so I'm not going to do that again. And then we'll dry and do a final weight on our filament as soon as we drop this bad boy. So we'll be back at you in a bit. We have done the 2 drops on the bigger bag of filaments. The only thing that remains was that little 40 something gram bag, which I'm going to drop out right now. Our first batch should be dry. I let it go overnight, so that would be our first batch of filaments over there in the heater or in the oven. And I've got to do our filter water and drop our chlorides out of these, which, like I said, I'm not going to do that again. You saw me do it once, so there's no point in doing the same thing over again on camera. I'm going to let this stuff settle out, then we will get it rinsed, cleaned, and dried and see what we ended up with. So I'm going to go ahead and drop out that small batch, see what we get out of it, and we'll be back at you when we're ready to weigh this stuff up. Okay guys, just popping in for a second to show you we are dropping that last little bit of silver. These two bigger jars are almost settled, so when they settle, like I said, we'll get them rinsed and get them cleaned and get them weighed. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay everybody, we are inside with our first weighed and dried batch from the Filaments. As I suspected, these were high yield silver. I mean, other than that sludge and the few that were plated, we had a 96.9% recovery. We had the bag had 248 grams total weight in it, but there was about 5 grams of this crap here. Let me show you, of this silica dust that I sifted off. So our actual starting weight was 243 grams. Our yield was 235.54 grams, which was a loss of only 7.46 grams, and that was probably to those tungsten things or whatever that stuff is that didn't dissolve and that the Aqua Regia didn't touch. As you can see, we have a nice, brilliant, clean powder. And again, 96, almost 97% yield on those. So they are definitely worth going after. Like I said, the only thing I would probably do different with these next time is I would burn them off to get rid of the that sludge or whatever, because it made filtering a real bear. And all it was some kind of coating, or I don't really even know. It could have even been just some more silica. Even after I rinsed them, I still got a little cloud when we put them in the acid. So I think burning them would probably be best. Like I said, treat them like you would your sterling silver or coins that you're going to refine. Burn it off and make sure it's clear. But we did get a beautiful, again, nice clean powder. So we will add that to this batch, and I will take my cut out of it, and we'll move on to the other two. So we'll see you when we get back outside. Okay guys, being that it's such a nice, bright, warm, sunshiny day, or semi-warm, I'm actually going to go move into the experiment stuff that we were going to do while we're waiting on this stuff to settle out so we can rinse it. This is actually our batch of Aqua Regia from the Filaments. Boy, I'm having a problem with that word. Me and my brain just ain't working. But anyway, that's the batch of Aqua Regia from the Filaments. I'm letting it settle out a little bit more before we siphon it off. This was all our filter papers from the contacts, plus our dust that was left over from the contacts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all this stuff in there like that. And then we are going to treat that with Aqua Regia. Get this little piece that fell off. We're going to treat that with Aqua Regia. As you can see, I really nitrated myself, silver nitrated myself. I picked up a towel I was using to wipe and didn't realize, and bam. So I'm going to have that for a couple weeks. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this all in here. I may transfer it to a beaker yet. I haven't decided. Probably will. But that's all our stuff from our contacts. So we are going to put that in Aqua Regia, dissolve what we can, and see what we got out of that. See if there's anything else in it, any gold or maybe any palladium or anything. So I'm going to put that up here with this one for now. Like I said, this one is from the Filaments. This is from the contacts. So that's already ready to go once it settles. And the last thing we are going to do is we are going to actually go ahead and re-refine this powder and these pieces that he refined and tried to melt. We have exactly 100 grams here, and we have 175.82 grams of powder. So I'm going to get this set up so we can start getting that dissolved, and we're going to see what we lose. I wanted to weigh this, precisely, so I used the scale inside, because we want to see how much of a loss there is once we do this. This is actually not part of the rest of this refine. This is separate. This is just a test for him. So let me get set up, get ready to do these tests, and get ready to start that stuff, and we'll be back at you. Okay guys, I am actually going to melt this first, his silver drop, because it does have a byproduct in it that I kind of find common with contacts or other stuff like that. But this actually pours off, it pours off like a glassy ash, and it's clear. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt this batch, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like, what this black stuff looks like, and it will actually pour off the silver. It's not a precious metal that I know of, because it melts, at a far lower temperature than the silver. But I'm going to go ahead and melt this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, I don't know how well you can see it, but you see that little, it's like a fluid. See, now I'm going to pour that off. See, and it's kind of a black, grayish looking fluid, or brownish looking fluid, but that's a contaminant in here. Now what exactly it is, I don't know, but I am going to melt this first to get rid of that, so we're not going to have it in our solution, because we don't need it there. But that's what I mean, you don't, if you have to clean your silver powder up no matter what you do. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you drop it with, make it in a chloride or dropping it with copper. You have got to clean it up, and this is why. So I'm just going to continue to melt this stuff down and get rid of as much of that crap as I can, and we'll get back at you in a bit. Okay guys, the sun's down behind the trees. I'm going to just showing you this stuff again real quick. It's about ready to be dropped, or not dropped, but siphoned off. I'll have to do that tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and call this video, because we're about 20 something minutes into it. I'm going to finish melting this stuff up, and we will start our part 9 with showing what we got out of the out of his powder, and weighing it up and showing the loss that was in his powder from going from powder to a solid, and then we're going to go ahead and get it going. So I'm a little tired today. I think I'm going to go sit in my chair for a bit and do some editing. So we will see you guys in part 9.